Hi, this is Lisa Mae DeMacy with another EQUUS Film Festival web chat here with Kerri Weiss, an equestrian photographer whose extensive portfolio of horses and those who love them have won multiple awards. Welcome, Kerri.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Kerri, you've stated that God has gifted you with an eye for photography, and you've spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours in classes, studying and practicing so you can keep up with modern trends. How has the medium changed for you over the years, and how has it affected the way you capture authentic moments between your subjects?
I started about 25 years ago with film. And so I've seen a huge change in photography, in editing, and how technology has evolved. But one thing that has not changed is seeing light. And I've always been passionate about light. And I've always tried to see new angles of my subject, whether we'll go for horses with horses. At the beginning, when I started during film days, we didn't have the internet and Google, which I think in a way was really good because it kept your ideas pure and individual. And you weren't trying to copy or replicate other people. So you could grow, I feel like, individually and uniquely, which is kind of how I got my start. Was people liked the way I saw things or the way my work was portrayed. And then on the technology end, oh my gracious, yes, that's where the hundreds of hours came in. But the most important thing I feel about equine photography is patience and literally being ready to push that shutter button. So everything, you have to have everything set beforehand because that moment comes and goes in a second.
And you know, it's funny, I'm just going to say this, but I was actually watching a friend ride the other day, and all these leaves kicked up right in front of her and the horse, and she passed, you know, they passed through the leaves, and I was like, I was there with my camera and I just wasn't ready, and I waited and waited an hour for it to happen again, and it didn't happen. So that I understand what you're saying about being ready and patient.
Yeah. Yes. So when I'm on a photo shoot, literally I will hold my camera and just be ready to push that shutter button.
I get it. Your festival entry is On My Own, a tawny coated foal munching on a bit of grass and looking straight into your lens. Can you tell us a little bit about that project?
I can tell you a little bit about that project. It happened though several years ago, so here's what I remember. My equine photography was probably in its early stages, but and I know that it was a self project. I had just met Lisa, I think, and asked if I could come out and photograph her horses for practice. And I remember seeing that little foal and just how adorable it was. And I was just following it around. And when it stopped eating and looked right at me, well, I just had to push the button. So it's not necessarily an artist piece, but it's a sweet piece. Yes. And it's just precious. So it's from probably 10, 15 years ago. And he's cute.
He is. It's a really sweet photo. Your goal as a photographer is to provide your client with a moment in time and a memory that moves their heart and soul. Could you describe that moment when you knew that photography was your gift and something you had to do?
Yes, it was. Well, I wasn't sure photography was my gift, but I've always loved art. And like I said before, I've always loved light. But about 30 years ago, I remember that some people, I don't know if they were looking at vacation photos of mine, but they were like, wow, you really take good photos. Would you take my daughter's wedding? And me, I'm kind of la la la. And I'm like, not thinking through the whole process, goes, oh, of course. So I shot the wedding. Didn't have a camera, didn't have a business. Everyone loved the photos. She asked me to shoot 2 more weddings. I shot those. And by that time, this was in the 90s and studios were not going on location. So pretty soon my name was being given around and people were just calling me to come and shoot their families and their children and their high school seniors. And I was like panicking. I'm like, oh my goodness, I probably need to like look into starting a business because I don't know what to charge. And I don't have the cameras and film. And from there, it just started and it just grew. And excuse me if I get a little emotional, but every job, whether it's for myself or for a client, I pour my heart and soul into. It is a passion, not just a job. And even if I don't do it as a business, I will always probably do it as a hobby. So I love it. It doesn't feel like I'm going to work when I go to work.
Nice. Yeah.
And yes, it gives me, I thank God that he gave me a passion and a joy. I give him the credit that he gave me the gift, but yes, I've had to work to enhance the gift because it's a continually learning process with, with Photoshop and with cutting edge things. I do custom books and wall portraits and so it's definitely a passion and a job.
Yes. And you mentioned before that you're very busy right now. What are some of the projects you're working on right now?
I love to do horse owners and their horses. And so right now I'm working on a high school senior and her 2 horses, and we're doing a book for her. And so that's the one I'm working on right now. I just finished a wall portrait for another client of her horse that this summer I did another project. I took a photo of her horse that she'd had for like 20 years and he was being put down the next day. So I do, that one I could hardly get through without just sobbing. So lots and lots and lots of projects. I sell books quite a bit because people can't narrow down their favorites. So it's, it's less expensive to get a book than to get, 20 photos. So
and
I try to work with people.
Kerri, when you say a book, like what is a book comprised of? Do you mean just
an album with like a leather cover, usually about 10 to 20 spreads. And then I lay out, I don't use templates. I lay out and design the book completely on my own. Wow. And it's usually like a coffee table book, just photos, 1 photo per page or up to 3. So usually a 10-inch by 10-inch, 8-inch by 8-inch book.
And leave you with a really good feeling of maybe not closure, but it seems like a polished project when you produce a book like that.
Yes. It's
very neat.
It's nice.
Yeah. Can you tell us or tell the audience where they can find you, and learn more about your work?
Yes. Well, you can learn about my work 2 places. I have my website, which is weissonlocation.com, because I started before people went on location in film days. So now it's not so apropos, but I've had it for 25 years. So it's my last name, WEISS, onlocation.com, no spaces. And then my Facebook, which I think too is Weiss on Location Photography, which I actually keep up to date a little bit more than my website because, oh yes, everything takes time. I wish I had a teenage daughter that could do all my media.
Yeah, you need an assistant.
Yes, I do need an assistant. I would just put them on social media, Instagram, website, Facebook page.
Yeah, Twitter, it all.
Twitter, all those things that,
That's a full-time job in itself.
It is.
Social media, I could
tell
you that.
I'm 61. I grew up without all this stuff, so yeah.
Well, you're doing great, and the way you've adapted is phenomenal.
Yep. Adapt or die, right? That's what they say. I love people. I love animals.
I was going to say, do you have any last words to offer for the audience? But I think I think adapt or die will do that. Those will be those last words.
You have been a joy.
Very funny. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to chat with us.
Thank you very much. You are very patient and a lovely person.
Oh, thank you. And I hope you come out to Massachusetts sometime, because I'd like to be in a gown, and you can take a picture of me and my lesson pony.
That would be awesome. If I get out there, I will text you.
Yes, by all means. Thank you, Kerri.
Thank you. You take care.
You too.